Today, we're working on a smart car that won't go forwards or backwards, and we're putting a clutch in it. So these things are pretty notorious apparently for the clutch actuator assembly, and that looks like this. And it bolts onto the bottom of the transmission. And you'll notice that there's slots in there. This thing is adjustable, but it bolts on underneath, and then the computer will control the clutch, and this thing will move out to push the shift fork and engage or disengage the clutch. Pretty simple. So it's basically like a manual transmission inside, except with a actuator that's electronically controlled. This is the clutch assembly out of this thing. This is a 800cc or 0.8 liter diesel, by the way. And you can see here, this is the clutch assembly. So we basically got the pressure plate and the clutch and the starter ring and the tone ring for the crankshaft position sensor all into one, and it's all riveted together. There you can see the clutch with our springs inside, and the clutch material, the friction material actually doesn't look too bad inside of there. But I mean, I checked the transmission and everything seemed to be spinning the way it's supposed to be spinning. So, I mean, it can only be one of two things, the reason why it's not moving forwards and backwards. And I just thought I would just give you a little tear down walkthrough video on what I'm doing to try to fix this thing. What I did try to do before I called it for a clutch was I adjusted it all the way one way, which would be the least amount of input as if the clutch was brand new. And then that didn't do anything. I had the car up on jack stands, tried to put it in drive, tried to put it in reverse, didn't do nothing. Adjusted it back halfway, and then I also tried adjusting it all the way over, and that would be like as much engaged as it could possibly be. And with it in that position, I was able to get the wheels to move forwards and backwards and on the jack stands. But then when I took it off the jack stands and went to try to drive it, I only got about 5 feet, and the engine started revving up, and then it just wouldn't go anywhere. So I was assuming, okay, well, this piece has already been replaced. And like I say, apparently these things are notorious for going out, so I don't blame the shop that replaced that. And it probably, you know, and maybe it needed it anyways because they go bad. So no harm, no foul. I just thought, well, it's got to be the clutch then, if it's kind of moving but not really. So that's what we're doing. We bought a clutch. It's from eBay. This came from the one that we got in it. This is the old one we took out. We got it on eBay and came from Germany.
Latvia, I think.
Latvia. And yeah, the clutch is discontinued from Mercedes. You can't get it anymore, at least here in Canada anyways. But to get this thing out, you're gonna take a bunch of panels and stuff off. I took the engine completely out. I found it was easier that way for me. But you gotta drop the suspension down and take a bunch of the body panels off. You've got 3 coolant lines, 2 fuel lines, a main power wire that runs from the alternator and the starter that goes up to the front. It's like one solid cable, no connection in between. So I actually just cut it, and I'm going to reattach that when I put it back in, which is a little bit hackish, but I'll make sure I do a nice job. To get the cable off, you have to take the starter out, move the air conditioning compressor. The cable runs down to the starter terminal lug there, and then it goes underneath of these coolant pipes to the alternator. And I didn't feel like taking all that stuff off. I was just trying to get this thing out, so that's what was involved. You also got to discharge the air conditioning for the compressor. I'm sure somehow you could probably just take the belt off and remove the compressor and just leave it hanging up in the car, but I just discharged it and pulled the pipes off. Once you get this thing down, oh, you also got to disconnect the exhaust, bunch of other stuff, and the axles. To get the axles out, you basically just drop this arm down to get enough room to compress the axles to get them out. And then they're just held in with circlips. So you just put a pry bar in behind them and hit them, and they'll pop out like so. Pretty simple. 3 motor mounts in total, one bolt's here, one bolt's here, and then there's a third one up in the front in the center. You undo that, and then there was like a PCV hose. I think that's what that is, and a bit of wiring. So it wasn't too bad, but everything's very tight. So it would be very difficult without the hoist. I needed the hoist. And then I just basically drove the forklift underneath and undid the motor mounts and lifted the car up and then backed out, and we just strapped the engine up to this lift and set it on the bench. To take the transmission off, you got to remove a bunch of this wiring, flop that all over, undo these two charge hoses for the intake. They go to the intercooler here. You take this fan off, then you take the intercooler off. Once the intercooler's off, there's a bracket that goes, it sort of supports this piece here. It goes in between this to the cylinder head, and there's a bunch of goofy bolts. They're all Torx. You take all 6 of those bolts out, you can take that bracket piece out, and then you're able to take the transmission off. Also, you need to, prior to dropping the engine, I recommend taking the 4 17mm bolts out. There's a window in between the transmission and the engine with a little like plasticky rubber plug you take off. And I was able to use like a really shallow socket and a shallow ratchet and sneak up in there and break those free and then take those out. But yeah, I just thought I'd ramble on about changing this over. So hopefully this works. And if you got any questions, throw them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. All right, so one important thing that you need to pay attention to is the orientation in which you take the clutch off. On the back of the engine, there will be sort of an X plate, and it's possible to install it in the wrong position. And what that'll do is it throws these teeth off in the wrong position. You'll notice that there's one spot that has a tooth missing or 2 teeth missing, and that indicates top dead center of cylinder 1, so the computer knows when to fire the injectors at the right time. And if you clock this in the wrong position and start the bolts and tighten them down, which you can do, then the engine will not start. So very important that you pay attention to where it comes off and that you put the new one back in the right position. So you have 4 possible positions that you can put this thing on. So just pay attention to that.